Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing pleasure to watch the Demon Slayer series finale with you all. Now, play me out, BB.
Yeah, let's go!
The episode is so good, let's do another intro segue, woo!
Now we're proud to present our newest edition, a program about love, honor, sacrifice, revenge, and a whole lot of destruction.
Bro, the strut was so good, UFO Table had to do the encore. Love the 20-minute walking segment to Undertaker's theme song in this episode, but just like Undertaker's career, some things have gotta end, and no better way to have the final episode of Demon Slayer encompass 40 minutes of spectacle between Muzan, Kaguya, and the Hashira all in one place to send the ship off into the precipice. And the first interaction between Kaguya and Muzan was spectacular. Something to truly remember for, at least a couple days until the next atrocity occurs. Wow, that was a depressing intro to the video. Anyways, the dynamic between Muzan and Kaguya couldn't be any more strange, as Kaguya has to ask his wife to describe the way Muzan even looks, while Muzan simply only needs to stand there and talk. It shows how backwards this situation is, with the hero lying down, defeated by his disease, while Muzan sits there, nearly immortal and close to being impervious to the sun. All he needs now is Nezuko to achieve true immortality. But it also shows how much of a coward Muzan Kibutsuji is. He got there through hiding in the shadows of the night, behind the masks of children, fathers, mothers, and whatever he could scurry away with. Truly, Muzan is portrayed as a coward at every facet. The only thing he has which makes him strong is his immortality and strength. But even with such strengths, he chooses to continually let others do the hard work while he claims it all for himself. Everyone is expendable for the coward that is also a child, Muzan. That's precisely why Kaguya knew Muzan would come for him, as Muzan feels he has him in the palm of his hands, along with the Demon Slayer core. But surprisingly, the near-death Kaguya sits up and basically tells Muzan that he's defied all medicine and knowledge from doctors and has continued to live on only for one thing: this moment, as he begins to cough up blood. He lives out of pure determination to defeat Muzan, as he shows his eye completely yellowed and likely rotting away. Kaguya reveals that both he and Muzan come from the same family, and curses his existence for being the pure monster that he is. Every child born into the Ubayashiki family was frail, and when going to priests for help, they told him that they had given birth to a demon, and so for generations they took wives from priests to make sure their bloodline wouldn't die. Hearing this, Muzan continues to step upon Kaguya's words and sentiments, saying that no god has defied him, he has faced no divine retribution. Kaguya then says something most interesting. This is the way that Muzan perceives things, so he asks him what his dreams are. And upon being asked this, Muzan says he feels no hatred towards Kaguya, and is startled when Kaguya's children begin to play ball. Now, something really cool about this. In the manga, this was in the background of a very tiny panel, which shows how great the direction for this series is to take such an insignificant moment you may not have even clocked, and turn it into this beautiful piece of art with incredible presentation and music. In turn, this helps show that Muzan is bothered by this. He finds it's disgusting, this display, and starts to piece together that there are no guards here. It's truly an eerie moment for Muzan as Kaguya then reads his mind. He knows he seeks immortality and promises that he won't find Nezuko. But once more, Muzan's hubris shows that he is underestimating the Demon Slayers. We then get into a bit of a philosophical moment that was really well done and made me think about my own, and humanity's own perception of what time is, which is a construct, of course. It doesn't exist, it's something made by humans to essentially cope in a way. Much like how, in space, at some point distance starts to blend into time and become a measurement like a ruler. Eternity, in the same sense, is simply just a feeling. It's not a length of time, it's a perception of existence. Now, that being said, Kaguya describes the feelings of humans and his Demon Slayer core eternal. It's not the people, it's more or less the message, the ideal maybe. These feelings of those that Muzan has taken the lives of over the years can never be forgiven, as truly those feelings have been generational, they've been eternal, and so Kaguya tells him, well, he stepped on the tiger's tail and provoked the dragon's wrath countless times. The Demon Slayer core is a manifestation of Muzan's power grab for, well, eternity. Kaguya isn't important in any of this. He is just there to carry on the feelings of a generation slaughtered, not by just the Ubuyushikis, but those who bloodlines Muzan has ended and destroyed. Because he is the source of all the hatred and death. Because Muzan Kibutsuji is the source of all demons. If he dies, then every demon dies. And just to add insult to injury on Kaguya's sick burn, y'all, he tells him that if he dies, all it does is bolster the morale of the Hashira and the Demon Slayer core. In other words, the eternal feelings will transfer into the next line to carry on, just like Kaguya told Muzan. And we see the Hashira rush to Kaguya's position as they know Muzan is there, and boy, they are ready to fight. And interestingly enough, before this attack, we also get a scene that explains that all the heads of the Ubuyashiki never had any sort of guards for generations now. And who knows, it was maybe for just a moment like this, or maybe, as we get into later, maybe Kaguya knew all of this would happen. Then, in a surprising, badass, sad, and shocking moment, Kaguya ignites himself, his wife, his children, his home, and Muzan Kibutsuji in flames as he blows himself up to try and kill Muzan. Truly, this was unexpected, and the animation in this moment was nothing short of magic as we see the explosion occur in slow motion. We see how the house warps and buckles, each section where they planted explosives and the fire incinerating the paper of the doors in what is in reality just an instant moment. This is by far one of the greatest explosions I've ever seen in any anime ever. And maybe it rivals Michael Bay on one of his greatest days. The blast sends out a shockwave as the Hashira looks upon Kaguya's ultimate sacrifice like an atom bomb detonated in the desert. From the flames, Muzan quickly recovers though. It still wasn't enough to kill him, but he is severely injured nonetheless with caltrops embedded in his body, delaying his regeneration. And before he can even continue to think, another surprising twist occurs. Spikes impel Muzan as Lady Tamayo appears from nowhere and pierces Muzan's stomach. She wants revenge for Muzan turning her into a demon and allowing her to kill her family. See, she was dying of a disease long ago and Muzan promised a cure, which was the only thing that she wanted from him. But he lied, and she ended up committing horrible atrocities and has since dedicated herself to endlessly pursuing a cure, maybe more, in this case, a weapon in the palm of her hand that is now inside of Muzan. And this medicine, this weapon, can turn any demon into a human. And I'm gonna say it. Oh, well, no, I already said it, and y'all didn't believe me. You said I was crazy. I was canceled on Twitter like 20 times. Lady Tamayo is best girl, and no one is better. So Muzan, not understanding her greatness, continues to take the coward's way out, I suppose, and kicks her foot out and impales her skull with his thumb. We know from season 1, this usually is an instant death move. But to atone for her sins, she will die here, which allows Gyomei to appear and attack Muzan. And I gotta say, Lady Tamayo has some of the finest facial expressions in all of Demon Slayer. Ufotable put their all into making every expression count. You could see her determination, sadness, and realization that she just outplayed Muzan. Her plan worked because she didn't for a second underestimate her opponent. She went in for the kill, and that's exactly what she got. Before we get into the final scene of the Demon Slayer anime, I want to ask you guys 2 ways to support me, and if you would kindly. I've been covering Demon Slayer since it first aired, and for that dedication, all I ask is that you drop a like on the video and subscribe, as we have some killer Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia content coming up very soon. The second is that I'm a partner with Gamersupps, and so naturally, I have a discount code, which gets you 10% off. This is optional, of course, but if you're in the market, I recommend Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Energy flavor and the mango flavor. If you're not interested in that, well, you know, let's get back to the video. In one of the most impressive, hellacious, genre-defining, unforgettable, undeniable, incredible, amazing, awe-inspiring moments in anime, Demon Slayer's anime series finally comes to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, Godspeed. Gyomei uses a ball and chain to disintegrate the head of Muzan with much force, as Gyomei recounts his training with Kaguya, which at that time he was 4 years older than Kagi. He couldn't believe it, and he breaks down when being told that he knows that he was no murderer and that he didn't do it. And in his final moment, he alone confided in Gyomei to carry through his plan to use him as bait to take the head of Muzan. He knew that Muzan would attack due to his intuition, which some believe to be the power of foresight. With impressive regeneration, we see Muzan do just that, regenerate his entire head in an instant. The only way to kill Muzan is to expose him to sunlight. Muzan then launches an attack, Black Blood Brambles, which is blocked by Stone Skin, and just... wow, an incredible moment that is just so beautifully animated, which kind of kicked into me at that point, this is coming to an end. The Hashira then surrounded Muzan in shock over the sight. Everything is destroyed, everything is on fire, and Gyomei is facing off with Muzan Kibutsuji as Tamayo's head is embedded within Muzan. All Hashira then use their breathing techniques to attack Muzan at once, and in that moment, the monster smirks, and they're teleported to Infinity Castle along with everyone else in the vicinity. Even Imosuke, who is having a blast about to chow down away from the prying eyes. Even the crows are there, and Inosuke doesn't fret, he's ready. Truly, it is infinite, and it is a spectacle of a castle that stretches in each direction endlessly. It's just such an amazing way to end this series on a visual spectacle as this, as all of the Hashira and Demon Slayer Corps converge as one. Tanjiro curses Muzan to death. He is the one who is going to go to hell, and Muzan, in retaliation, sends him down, descending into the pits of the Infinity Castle. As you guessed it, the credits roll on a spectacular cliffhanger ending to one of the most popular shonen, rather, the most popular shonen of the modern era of Shonen Jump and shonen anime. It goes without saying that this episode of Demon Slayer may be the best episode of the entire series by a country mile. From the spectacular showdown and scene with Muzan and Kaguya, to the latter igniting himself and his family in an explosion using himself as bait to take on Muzan, which is then even topped more, adding on to the hype as Tamayo pays off her character by getting revenge and injecting Muzan with medicine, turning him into a human to the final moments as the Hashira launch their attacks and are teleported into Infinity Castle. Dare I say it, but they sold me 3 tickets to the theater, and I'm taking the whole fam. It is absolutely the right choice to turn the final 2 arcs of Demon Slayer into a film trilogy, and while it will be nearly impossible to top Ufotable's Heaven's Feel trilogy, I mean, if there's anyone that could do it, it's the creators themselves. This studio is truly in its golden age, and with Demon Slayer coming to an end, it's time to send off one of the greats with a bang, getting one of the finest treatments a series could get with an epic trilogy of films. I, for one, cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen. I promised myself I wouldn't cry, but it has been an honor. Whether you're a longtime viewer, new viewer, or this is your first episode, or the last video you'll ever watch from me, just know that I appreciate you and your support. Without you, this channel wouldn't have over 100,000 subscribers, and my feelings, such like Kaguya's, is eternal, and I send you all off for our final Demon Slayer anime series coverage with a simple message, and I think it's appropriate.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.